Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of Man once again, and today we are doing another manga review. Now today we will be reviewing Eden Zero volumes 4, 5, and 6. These are written by Hiro Mashima of Fairy Tail and Rave Master fame. They are published by Kodansha with those horribly weak spines and all, which get really damaged for a bunch of different things. There's a bunch of different marks on them, which kind of sucks, but it happens, I guess. Now, the demographic for these is shonen, and the genres are science fantasy, or what Mashima calls space fantasy, but it's basically the same thing, and adventure. And you can say science fiction because it's more or less the same thing as sci fantasy, but the science fiction here isn't very hard. It's not really based on real science, and it's based on the rule of cool, so keep that in mind. It basically is the same genre as Star Wars, where it doesn't really matter why the hyperdrive works. It only matters that you can use it to get to the space wizard. So keep that in mind if you guys want to read this. Now, if you want to watch my review of volumes 1, 2, and 3, it's up there in the card. You guys can click on it, watch it, then come back to this one. Or you can just jump in right here. Whatever's good with you guys. However, there are going to be some mild spoilers for what happened in the first 3 books, just in case you guys are curious about that or want to make sure that you can watch this video. Now, there is no adaptation yet, but it is coming April 2021 as far as we know, so I'm really happy about that, and I'm really excited to see this story animated. Now, the premise here is basically this boy, Shiki, and this girl, Rebecca, meet and decide to go on an adventure together to both help her gain followers on Booktube, which is the same thing as YouTube, but in the future, and for Shiki to follow in the legacy of the person that raised him. And the journey that they're going on is basically to find this mythical giant alien person that lives in space called Mother, that no one has ever seen, that someone has seen before, but no one since that person has been able to reach. So it's a very epic adventure. And yeah. Now, I'm going to break it up into each book, and within each book, I'm going to talk about each arc that is covered. And here we cover 3 arcs and start a 4th one, so there are going to be some mild spoilers for things, so be careful with that. Okay. So, let's start with Volume 4. It finishes the Guilts arc and helps save Lucy, and if you guys remember from Volume 3, there is a chronophage, which is a giant time-eating monster approaching Guilts. Now, the arc is finished in the first 4 chapters of this volume, and then the Digitalis arc starts, which is a kind of isekai or gamelet style arc, which is really cool. I really like that, but it's not really all that important, and the game aspects don't really come into play, except for the fact that they have avatars, and so they change their clothing, and that they don't really die, and that they can use technology to kind of mess with the game. It's really cool, and the Digitalis arc is covered in the last 4 chapters, which are the first chapters of that arc. It's very fun. I really enjoyed it. In Guilts, it was very interesting. I really enjoyed the twist with the sister character and the way that it all ended, and it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And I loved Sister so much. She was such a very well-designed character. There was really, fun elements of fan service with her, so I liked it a lot. Now, Digitalis was really interesting. I liked that it was an isekai a lot, and I love the start of it because of this place called Iron Hill, which is amazing. It looks so cool. Let me see if I can show you guys really quickly what it kind of looks like. And hopefully Kodansha doesn't strike my video down. But yeah, look at this. Look at that. That's so amazing. These are these gigantic statues of suits of armor that are just so awesome looking. I really want to see that animated so bad. And yeah. Now we get Xiaomei to show up again, which is cool. I like her as a character. I really don't understand her purpose yet, at least so far as in this volume, but I like when she shows up. She's really fun. Now, she says that it's going to be a sadistic story, but I really didn't see that all that much. I mean, it was pretty, like, mean, but it wasn't, like, really horrible in any way. It wasn't any worse than any of the other backstories for characters that we've had so far. So, yeah. The characters that are kind of interesting here are Pino and Jamilov. So, Ian Pino gets to play as a human in Digitalis, and that was really cute. I really like that. And then Jamilov is this bad guy character that is really crappy. So, volume 5. Yeah, basically, all of the Digitalis arc is contained in this volume. It finishes it up. It's 8 chapters here, and there's, I think, another 2 chapters in volume 6. And, yeah, so basically, it's this treacherous government intervention here that kind of shows up. Or, well, actually, no. There's treachery with the main group. There's a bit of a plotline there because of the GIA, which is this government agency. I think it's the Galactic Intelligence Agency or something like that. With this character here, which looks like Adalas Lucy, which is really cool. I like that a lot. And yeah, crazy robot abuse that happened with the backstory here that was provided for us that didn't really hit me as hard as something like the happy storyline from volume 1, which kind of sucks, but I'm not really sure why that is. I'm trying to keep it very vague here. Not really any major spoilers or anything that really affects the storyline all that much if you know about it beforehand. But yeah, there was some really crappy stuff and really messed up. But it didn't really force me to react emotionally in any way that was all that horrible. I mean, it was kind of like, oh, poor robots. But it wasn't like, oh, damn, Happy died and he got turned into a robot. And, you know, Rebecca still likes him. Which was a very good storyline from Hiro Mashima early in volume 1. So, yeah, I don't really know, man. There wasn't really anything all that great here. I think this is probably the weakest volume I've read so far. Mostly because, although the arc was okay, it moved too fast. Like, it didn't really let you enjoy anything about it or, like, let anything sink in. It was really fast and kind of just worked to, okay, let's introduce a bunch of characters, and then let's have this really crappy, like, interpersonal tension between the group, and then let's move on to something else. And I didn't really like that it was so fast. I think he could have stretched the Digitalis arc a bit more and kind of made it more meaningful, or kind of started it earlier beforehand. But I think it's because Mashima realizes that the whole Shining Stars plotline is more of a prologue, and he wants to finish that quickly so he can move on to the actual battle shonen stuff. Because so far, it's not really battle shonen in the traditional sense like Naruto and Dragon Ball. It's more like adventure based. It's more like One Piece with like less fight scenes early on than it really is, you know, something like Naruto or Dragon Ball, which is interesting. Now, volume 6, like I said, finishes the Guilds arc, which I already covered, so I'm not going to talk about it. And it starts the Mildian arc, which actually is contained in, like, I don't know, 4 chapters, I think? Let me check. Yeah, it is 4 chapters. And the Mildian arc is basically a tiny tournament that deals with finding information that the crew needs in order to find this character right here, Valkyrie, which is the 4th Shining Star. Now, they go to this planet that's like the Time Planet, which is really cool, and they meet with Xiao Mei, who finally plays a role in the book, or in the story. She's kind of wacky, and I love that. I think it's so funny. But I'm not really sure that I like the arc that much. I mean, it was really cool, and it was fun, and I enjoyed the fight scenes. But it all really went fast, and I'm not really sure that I like that much. Again, I think it's just Mashima realizing, okay, this is like the prologue. Let's move on and get to the actual important part. But I wish he would still take his time to make it right. And he hasn't made anything wrong yet, or he hasn't like developed the story in any negative way yet. He's doing okay. It's not really a problem. It's just I personally would have liked that, you know, the tournament arc lasted a little bit longer. But it's fine. I really enjoyed it regardless. Now, the Sunju arc starts here, and I like it so far. It introduces these new characters. It introduces Lady Kurenai and Draken Joe, which have great character designs. Like, holy crap, Mashima is so good at drawing characters. And to have this kind of like imposing, like powerful visage to them, I like it so much. But yeah, like, there's so much stuff here that's happened that I really like. And I like that the story is following a more traditional adventure plot point than it is battle manga. It's really cool because it's like, okay, we're in the getting the crew together phase before we finally go on the adventure. It just happens that the finding the crew requires them to go on small adventures all the time. And I'm really excited to get to the point where the crew is finally together and we can go on the battle shonen journey. But I'm really liking this like small scale adventures so far. And I like it a lot because it's not just like fairy tale where it's like, okay, the crew got together in the first like 5 chapters and now we're just going to go on adventures over and over again. It's more like, okay, here's a small bit of the crew. We have to go find a new crew member. And in order to do that, we're going on a small adventure. And then we're going to go on another one and another one. And all in the order, or all in order to be able to go on the grand adventure together, which I like a lot. Now, the characters here, I enjoy all of them. Shiki and Rebecca are really coming together as characters and kind of straying away from from Natsu and Lucy. Sorry, not Naruto. And I like that a lot. They're very different, although they have the same basic character design. The way they draw, they have clothing and the softness of their features differentiates them, as well as their personalities. Shiki is pretty similar to Natsu, but instead of fighting everyone, he wants to be friends with everyone, which I like a lot. And Rebecca is very different from Lucy. And I like that, although she has seemed to be the catalyst for character development in other characters, like Lucy is in a lot of fairy tale, she still holds her own very nicely, and she fights her own battles when she has to, which Lucy didn't really get to do very often. I mean, Lucy either got to beat the bad guy because it was funny with like a Lucy kick, or because Natsu helped her kill the bad guy before, like, you know, they killed her. So I really like that Rebecca really can hold her own and has her own powers. So that's pretty cool. Well, I mean, Lucy had her own powers too, but what I mean is that Lucy was more of a support character. Rebecca is definitely a like main character in her own right. But I think that's because Lucy also had to be the narrator of the story, and so she couldn't really be both at the same time. So, yeah. Waze and Homura are developing, but they're kind of slow to get there, and I don't really see that much for them yet. Waze really doesn't get any development so far, but Homura is getting development because she is tied to the Eden Zero in a specific way that I can't really tell you about just yet, but was hinted at in Volume 3. So I like that. I really like Pino. Her kind of desire to be human is mentioned in books and Volumes 2 and 3, so it's not a spoiler, but I really like the development that she goes through in this volume, or in these volumes, and kind of the cuteness that she brings to the table. I like her a lot. I like all the shining stars so far. Hermit is the newest one, and it's this little girl here. The little girl with the blue hair, which basically reminds me of Wendy, but her character is very different. She's a lot more like emotionless, and she's very cute, and I like her a lot. But man, she was really naive, and her background, her backstory is kind of tough to kind of digest, and I felt it. Like I empathized with her, but it didn't really like affect me as much as Lucy or Rebecca and Happy's backstory. So I'm not really sure why that is. I think it's because I didn't really like Wendy as a character all that much in Fairy Tail, but I really like Lucy and Happy, and so seeing characters that look like them have this horrible, sad backstory really like hit me. Whereas with Wendy, I don't really care that a character that looks like her had this horrible backstory because I didn't really like Wendy as a character. So I don't know. I think I will like Hermit a lot more as things move on, but so far she's very neutral for me. Yeah. What else? I really love the character designs so much. Look, Mashima is great at making female characters that both have a very strong presence and are really cute and like pretty. And the way that he designs like epic female characters is so good. Like he has so many badass female characters. He has like a monopoly on them. Like Urza, her mom, Kana, Mira Jane. Dude, there's so many crazy, awesome looking female characters that Mashima has, and they're all really strong and individual, and I like them so much. His male evil characters are also really interesting. Draken Joe looks so awesome. Like, I just can't wait to see what he does, and I really like his, like, you smell like money thing, which is it's very funny. It's like a mafioso, like New York Italian descent like mobster, and I think that's so cool. I love that so much. But yeah, I can't wait for that. Now the world building here is nice. It's so good. It's the most amazing part of the story. I really like how each world has its own little thing, and it's like craziness about it. I really like how dangerous chronophages are. Like, holy crap, that's basically an apocalyptic level event that can hit at any time with no like possible way to fight it at all. And that's so crazy. That's amazing. That's so powerful. And yeah, the existence of digital worlds makes a lot of sense, which is something we haven't seen in other space fantasies with androids like Star Wars, as far as I'm aware. So I like it. It's a very natural progression. Like, of course, if you have AI, you're going to have digital worlds that are like the same as the real world, just in a computer. It makes so much sense, and I like it a lot. I also like the importance that the digital world had on the plot line. Makes a lot of sense. I really like how it all fit together. And yeah, Iron Hill was one of the coolest places we've seen in Eden Zero so far. That was so epic. It was just so amazing that there was these giant metal statues in the middle of in the middle of space that were so freaking awesome. Like, I just love that so much. I really hope that they become important later on. Like, maybe they can be mechas and we can have mecha Fairy Tail, and that would be super cool. Mostly because I want to make a Gunpla model of one of those. And yeah, I really enjoyed like Digitalis as a concept, because I think like going into a digital world was cool, and I also liked it because it was basically like Fairy Tail. It looked a lot like Fairy Tail and Fiora and stuff. Mildian was cool as well. Like, the design of the planet was really awesome. And yeah, I also like the introduction of a second cosmos, the IOE cosmos, which is like fish, and there was these giant space fish flying around that I liked a lot. But yeah, really excited to see more cosmos and more like planets in the future of Eden Zero. Now the art here, I love it. The character designs are amazing, like I've said so many times. And I love that Mashima is finding reasons to change the outfits of characters for the hell of it or for the fun of it, because I hate that shonen characters always are wearing the same thing for like years. It's like, dude, change your outfit. Like, come on. Naruto only has 2 outfits. He has like the one when he's a kid with the orange jacket, and the one when he's an adult with the black jacket. That's so boring, man. And Goku literally has had the same outfit with like color swaps for like his whole freaking life, man. Like, what the heck? Like, I just love that Mashima really takes his time and makes his characters have different outfits. And some of those worked really nicely because they were like fan servicey moments, and I love that a lot. Yeah, the art, I love the thickness of the characters, and I like which Her outfit change was so freaking great. I love her. Her face is so pretty. And the outfit that she chose is really witchy, and it's so good. I love it. But yeah, the backgrounds are also really nice. I really like that as well. A lot of attention to detail. I guess that he probably doesn't do the backgrounds. His assistants do. But either way, really well done. I like that a lot. Fan service, huge amounts. There's so much fan service. We get some like crazy exposition while there's fan service going on, which is very Game of Thrones. I like that. Yeah, interesting stuff with Homura and Rebecca having like 3 bath scenes, I think, which was great. I like that a lot as well. Now, I rate all of these, I don't know, Volume 4 and 6 definitely are a 5. But Volume 5, I would say, is a 4, just because the Digitalis arc was really not my favorite so far. I think I'll get more of an appreciation for it once I read it again. But right now, I didn't really like it all that much. So, yeah, Volume 4 is a 5 out of 5. Volume 5 is a 4 out of 5. And Volume 6 is a 5 out of 5. So, yeah, that's basically it for me on the books. Do I recommend these titles? Yes, they're amazing. I love Eden Zero so much. Similar titles besides Fairy Tail and One Piece, I don't know. Star Wars, maybe? I don't really know that there's any other space fantasy manga, so I can't really recommend anything else like that. So yeah, Fairy Tail, One Piece, and Star Wars are the 3 titles that I think are similar to this. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you like Eden Zero, let me know what you think about the Digitalis arc and about the other arcs in the series so far. No spoilers, though. I really don't want to be spoiled for volumes 7 and onwards. Please keep those to yourself. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys later.